But then when Wasim came on, and I distinctly remember this feeling, and had been kind of built up over a period of time, is that Wasim will do it. He will sort this out for us. Aap at least a total rag dein, Wasim will sort it out for us, because at that time he was just kind of emerging from the shadow of Imran over that late 80s, kind of early 90s period. Imran, had kind of finished effectively as a cricketer by then. Batting Imran ki thi, but bowling was gone. Wasim had stepped up across the late 80s and early 90s as the guy, as the go-to guy. उस जमाने में क्लच वच की कोई बात नहीं करता था. It was just that, ये एक player है जो pressure handle कर लेता है. And Wasim had proven that time and again. Australasia Cup ke final mein, just before that, he had hit a 49 and taken a hat-trick against Australia to win it. 88 series against West Indies, he was prominent in that throughout the series. And the Nehru Cup final, when he came out and just like hit a six of the only ball he faced in the final, which happened to be the second last ball of that final, off Viv Richards, no less, who, he was a batter, of course, but could bowl decent off spin, very more than decent off spin. And so, the guy was like becoming this clutch figure. And so we thought, yeah, final mein aa gaya hai, Wasim ka tournament jis tarah ka bhi gaya hai, he will perform. Like we will bank our hopes on him and he will not let us down. It was, you're 15, you're still kind of on the cusp of becoming an adult, so you still retain faith and optimism in things. Like, you're not a cynic like I am now. You retain faith and hope and optimism. So you thought Wasim kar lega kuch na kuch. And, then of course he got Botham out, which wasn't out. Like, we say that to this day कि वो गलत से out दिया, मगर legally गलत out दिया, मगर morally और spiritually एकदम सही out दिया था उसे. Like, I think ethically, morally, spiritually. What's that?
Fuck in Botham, first of all.
Basically. And Botham had a great tournament as well up until then. He was having like a late career swan song at the forefront of this very German-like efficient England team full of all-rounders. Like, uske 1 se 11 tak all-rounders hi the. And they were showing a new way forward for white ball cricket. A great side, actually, arguably one of their greatest sides until like this current generation in white ball. And then, Wasim gets that first wicket and you're like, okay, Wasim's getting there. And I had never bought into this like narrative through that tournament that Wasim bowling somehow अच्छी नहीं करा रहा था. Like, people were like worried about Wasim ke yaar wo wides or no balls bahut zyada kara raha hai. And I was like, man, like, the point of cricket at that stage was that he has to get wickets. And he was picking up wickets throughout that tournament. He had 15 wickets before he got to the final, which out of like 8-9 games in an ODI, I think it was a pretty good rate. Wides kara raha tha wo, but Imran had said to him that, screw, forget all this, just bowl fast. So he was bowling well as far as I was concerned. And, then what he did, we'll get into now. But yeah, my feelings were that Wasim has got this. And that was built up over 3 or 4 years of Wasim constantly getting this. Like, Pakistan in trouble, Wasim Akram there to help you out. And he will do it because he was just, it was a wonderful, wonderful time in Wasim's career and of being a Wasim fan. Because he literally at that stage, I can't remember one thing that he ever did wrong. He even appeared in like anti-smoking adverts, man, which, like, come on, dude. But if you go through all of Pakistan's like greatest moments from about like, the late-ish, mid to late 80s up to, I would say, like even the end of the 90s, like, Wasim has been prominent in all of them. West Indies ke khilaf, Tino series home and away. His record was outstanding in those series, like, saved them in that, right from the first series in 86 when he took a 6 for hit 60 in one of the test matches, then 88 May when he roughed up Viv Richards of all the goddamn people, and then 90 May he took wickets along with Waqar in that one also. He was prominent right throughout that. He was right at the forefront of the 92 win over England, one of the greatest 5 test series. I think easily the greatest 5 test series Pakistan have ever played. That entire tour when they won the Tetley Challenge and stuff, Wasim was right up there. 99 ke World Cup mein, he was prominent all the way through to the final. The only tri-series win Pakistan have had in Australia, Wasim Akram was captain. By the way, like a hugely underappreciated triumph, but Wasim was captain of that side. 88, 89 mein, when they got to the final of the tri-series, he was there. Nehru Cup, Australasia Cup, everywhere. So like, Wasim is the very definition of clutch. And I know there's people out there who will say, hey, there's no such thing as clutch, but I'm telling them to F off because this guy was clutch, right? This guy really turned up at those big moments and he performed exactly as you hoped and expected and wished that he would. So yeah, Wasim, clutch. Now we come to the spell, and I'm going to start this off, like, that by pointing out something that we again take for granted because we've grown up with that spell, but it was something that Jared actually, and it took an outsider almost into the experience to kind of point it out. He says that, that like that the Wasim Akram's whole thing, his left arm thing, some people reduce him to being like a great reverse swing bowler, which is absolute crap. He's much more than that, always has been. And the thing about Wasim was that he was, and this is how the outside world remembers him, is that he was a pioneering bowler. Wasim se pehle left arm fast bowlers bahut kam the. Successful left arm fast bowlers cricket mein aur bhi kam the. Like, there was maybe Alan Davidson as an all-rounder back in the 50s and 60s. But successful, long-lasting left arm fast bowlers of his genius were absolutely like hardly anybody there, And so Wasim was primarily a pioneering thing in cricket, like an innovation almost. And then the deliveries to Alan Lamb and Chris Lewis, right? That first ball to Alan Lamb is a ball, even though Neil Fairbrother, who had been playing with Wasim at Lancashire all this time, had kind of warned Alan Lamb about this delivery. Okay, what's he doing? And Fairbrother told him that he's going to bring it in, he's going to angle it in and take it away. Alan Lamb's like, yeah, sure. Probably says something like, I got this. Don't worry. It's fine. And then when you come down, like, it's one thing knowing what he's going to do, but then to be able to play that delivery, still, to this day, it's a timeless delivery. It's impossible to play that ball. You may have seen it being bowled by guys like, I don't know, Mitchell Stark, who had to hit a crack to bowl James Vince in an Ashes like that. You may have seen Zahir Khan bowl it every now and again. Mohammad Amir bowled some deliveries like that, which got the outside edge rather than the off stump. But to this day, 30 years on, somebody bowls a ball like that between 85, 90 miles per hour, it is still a great ball. Like, it's unplayable, whatever era you're in. And Wasim was doing it then, and batters had not seen it that often. And even if they had, they couldn't do anything about it. So that delivery is like it's spectacular, it's innovative, it's pioneering, and it's unplayable.